Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Sigera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Thursday, working towards the weekend, brought to you by Sigera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. We'll preview left field for LSU coming up in 15 minutes. I learned some things today about LSU's left fielder that I didn't either remember or know at all as of last year. We'll get into that in 15 minutes. Trinidad Chambliss, waiver denied. What does it mean? I'll talk about it later on in this hour. Chris Blair will be along at 2:15 talking Tigers. Joe Healey start off our weekly chats about SEC baseball. He's, of course, with the D1 Baseball SEC Extra team. We'll talk to Joe at 1:30. Moving forward, he's got a podcast, preseason podcast. That's not going to be a regular thing that he's got to do today, so we'll bump him back to 2:30. I want to talk about a few things with Joe. I want to talk about Tennessee's new head coach. I want to talk about Kason Evans moving from the closer's role to the starter's role at the front end of the rotation. That's happening in Austin, Texas as well. Get some thoughts on that. I think it's interesting what's going on at Florida over the last 6 months with Kevin O'Sullivan being out and then back in. Paul Maneri has lost his ace. How big a deal is that? So lots of SEC baseball, big picture discussion with Joe Healey coming up at 2:30. We're getting closer and closer. We are 8 days from first pitch out at the box, so we'll talk a little bit of baseball today. And we're getting closer to the Super Bowl. We got to talk a little bit about that as well. Our Thursday show, as I mentioned, brought to you by Sigera Farms. Let's get it started the way we do every day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabre Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
So Lane Kiffin met with the media yesterday. It was right before we went on the air, so we didn't have time to play any of the sound that he actually produced at the mic yesterday, but we discussed some of the things he had to say. It wasn't before, it was while we were on the air, I should say, yesterday at 2 o'clock. So now we've got some time to marinate on what he had to say. I've been able to go back and listen to it, and I think some of the stuff was interesting, specifically on the recruiting side of things. We don't know anything about Lane Kiffin, the LSU football coach, other than hiring a staff and recruiting players. We don't know anything about spring practice. We don't know anything about media availability. We don't know much about the way he's going to handle injuries. We don't know anything about the way he's going to coach at LSU. We don't know anything about his long-term recruiting plan. I think we're just getting to know Lane Kiffin, but we do have a cycle's worth of frantic roster building to go off of, and that was a lot of the talk yesterday with the questions the media had to ask him. And the first bite we'll play here today is about LSU's NIL plan. And when I say NIL, I mean name, image, and likeness. You also group revenue sharing. It's essentially your resource allocation in the roster. And this is what Lane Kiffin had to say about what he experienced with LSU going through this high school and portal cycles.
I'm not going, nor will I ever really get into the details exactly, obviously, of the resources and the breakdown and how we use them, but just felt in the plan that there was a really good plan here in place and an alignment from the top down. So number one, the resources to do it, which is important, like I referred to, but then a plan of how do you use the resources, which is not our expertise contractually and NIL contractually, third parties, and then to combine that, which I think what is our specialty is the evaluation of the players, because again, you can have money, just like you see in any sports, and salary caps, and do you evaluate the guys really well? Do you not just get the top end guys? Do you get the next tier, and do you get them for really good deals? You know, by the way that you evaluate them, by the way that your scouting department evaluates and your coaches, and I think that's our specialty. So putting those two things combined, I think puts us where we are.
I've mentioned this a few times on the air. It is something that's been very apparent early on in learning about this staff. We knew when Lane Kiffin brought Charlie Weiss Jr. and George McDonald and Kevin Smith and that offensive staff, we knew they were good at coaching offense on Saturdays. Like, we knew that. No matter who the quarterback has been, no matter who the number one wide receiver has been, no matter what the pieces have been up front, Ole Miss has moved the ball and scored points. We knew that. And so it would stand to reason they would be very confident in their ability offensively to produce points, and they are. One thing that Lane Kiffin is very confident in his staff about is evaluation. And you would suggest in a bygone era that would be vital at Ole Miss or Mississippi State or South Carolina or Kentucky. Not as important at Alabama or Florida or LSU, where you just go get the big boys. You go get the best players in the nation. Well, Ole Miss 15, 20 years ago couldn't get the best players in the nation. Not going to happen. That is not going to happen in Lexington, Kentucky. You can't do it. So what do you have to do? We got to find the diamonds in the rough. You've got to find those 3 stars that blossom. You've got to evaluate that way. Well, now fast forward 20 years, and you can't just go get all the big boys because you can't pay for them. You can't pay all the big boys. Can't be done. You have to, as any NFL team does, as any Major League Baseball team does, as any NBA team does, you have to go get the big boys, but when you run out of the big dollars, you've got to go use the rest of your money to find those diamonds in the rough. And that is something that wasn't as important for LSU. And I realize that's all relative. You still had to go get those 3-star dudes from New Orleans who ended up being Duke Riley and ended up being Deion Jones and ended up being Justin Jefferson. And that was still important at that point, but you still could go get all the 5 stars you wanted at LSU and at Alabama and Georgia 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Now, you really can't. So you hear that the plan is to scout, evaluate, and then use the resources properly, which you've got an entire staff that's in charge of how to bend the rules or get through this loophole and make sure that the money that you give these players, which you must to keep them every year, is up above board. And that's something that he had to learn and that he feels LSU's plan is very good in. Now, I thought the most maybe impactful line he delivered was in speaking about getting on the plane to go get Sam Leavitt and getting on the plane to Atlanta and go get Jordan Seaton when those guys had visited Baton Rouge and left. And Lane Kiffin got on the plane and went and saw him. That's not something you saw the last staff do. It's certainly something you saw Ed Ogeron do. I remember very vividly, Ed Ogeron went to Houston when Kaylavon Chason was getting on a flight to go on a visit, and he went through security with Kaylavon Chason all the way to the gate before I don't even remember where he was going to visit, but was at the airport the whole time. So this is something, and look, Lane Kiffin and O work together. They've been on the same staffs. They know the same deals, and Lane Kiffin talked about, hey, getting on the plane and going to see him.
And there's a good and bad to it. I'm extremely competitive, and I don't really do well with no. So that just makes me more competitive when someone says no. So sometimes that happens in recruiting. They say no. But I think that's my job. That's my job to LSU. And kind of on a different note, when people ask about the social media and why do you do it, everything that I do is for the place of where I coach at, for that school, for those players and those fans. And that makes me not very liked a lot of times by other ones. And so my job, I'm hired here, is to go sign the best players, regardless of whether that means I got to go get on another plane or find a plane and show up somewhere and walk through Knoxville Airport, to find the guy. And that's just kind of how I work. And I like that because I think that wires in really with Louisiana people, because I think that's how they think. No job's too small, and find a way to go get it done.
That's an interesting bite. It really is. And let's flesh that out a little bit. I, within reason, pushed back on some of the Brian Kelly narrative that he was lazy. Some. That stat that got out there that T-Bob tweeted out about the rounds of golf that Brian Kelly played at a Baton Rouge area country club, I pushed back on hard. I have lived the 100 round of golf life per year. I've lived that life. When I was single and I didn't have a lot of expenses and had no kids, I absolutely carted 100 rounds a year. It is real work to do that. And when you do that, people notice you're out there all the time. I know people who play golf a lot in this city, and I talked to 10 of them, and 10 of them said, no shot. Now, I don't know what he was doing all off season. I don't know what he was doing at 8 o'clock at night. I don't know what he was doing at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not suggesting Brian Kelly was just a relentless worker at LSU. I'm pushing a little bit back on the narrative that he just mailed it in completely. And I don't know, because I wasn't there, but I'm pushing back a little bit. But something that's become pretty evident about Lane Kiffin since he's gotten here, that guy's juices are flowing. He's competitive. He's up early. He's working. He's recruiting. He's flying over here. He's recruiting this guy. He's working with Billy Glascock on this. Like he is motivated. And I believe that being motivated at this job, in this university, and it goes to women's basketball, it goes to baseball, it goes to gymnastics, it goes to men's golf that want to, I mean, like, that you can win a national championship here in just about whatever you want if you do that. And Lane Kiffin may win 4 national titles here. He may never make a playoff. I don't know. Landscape is very different than it was 5 or 8 years ago. I don't know. But right now, what I know is that there's a lot of effort being put in. That's just very obvious. And putting in a lot of effort at Washington State, I'm not sure what that gets you. I'm not sure. Maybe it gets you in the playoff. Maybe you got no shot and you're just going to go 7-5. I don't know. Putting in a lot of work at Louisiana Tech, I don't know what that gets you. I know what putting in a lot of work at LSU can get you. And it appears that he's putting in a lot of work. And that's evidence to, I mean, like, it's not like, oh, it's just social media. We know he flew to Knoxville to go see Sam Levitt in the airport. We know he flew to Atlanta after a 2.5-day visit with Jordan Seaton right after that just to stay on it. And he won both of them. So that to me is loud. And it's reassuring as someone who wants that program to do very, very well that you've got a guy in the pilot seat right now that's grinding. I will not go into detail here because I just don't know that I need to, but I've seen multiple coaches in this university not grind. And you're never going to just completely bottom out, but you got no shot. And that's not the case with Lane Kiffin. Not right now. He wants to win. And I think that's a big deal. That's something that he talked about yesterday. We'll get to more Lane Kiffin sound coming up in 15 minutes. I'll shift gears over to baseball briefly. I want to talk left field. I wrote a story about it at LouisianaSports.net. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I learned a couple things about LSU's left fielder earlier today when I wrote that story. We'll discuss them when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website, HighlandIG.com. Look, group employee benefits, important deal. Healthcare for your employees is an important deal. And I talked to Jonathan Carbo in our most recent sit down and said, look, there are a lot of folks calling the Highland Insurance Group right now because they've been with a benefits carrier for a number of years and the increases are coming, and this one has been even worse. So if you're a business owner or you handle the benefits with your business and these renewals are just getting untenable, get a second option. The Highland Insurance Group is not just property and casualty. They're not just captives, and they can do group and employee benefits. They can make sure your employees are taken care of and have the right benefits in place, have the right health insurance in place. So if you're getting that renewal and you're thinking, goodness gracious, it just won't stop, the Highland Insurance Group may have a better option. They're an independent broker. They've got relationships with different carriers. Just sit down and have the meeting with Jonathan and his team. They are happy to do that with you. He's getting calls all the time. He knows where to go. It's the Highland Insurance Group. They're here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out statewide. Find them online at HighlandIG.com.
Make Raising Cane's the first stop for your second line. Get extra saucy with a Cane's doubloon for just $1 that scores you extra cane sauce through April 3rd with any purchase. Let the good times roll this Mardi Gras with Raising Cane's. One love.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sigera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sigera Farms Premium Angus Beef, some of the best beef in the country. And it's right here, just north of Baton Rouge in Ethel. Sean is so passionate about this project. It started out as a labor of love. Sean just wasn't thrilled with the quality of product he was getting when he went to buy his ground beef, when he went to buy his steaks. So he said, well, I'll just do it. And he got into learning about it and researching about it and got really good at it. Mastered it is what I would suggest, because I've got some of his product in my freezer. But intermuscular fat score is what you're looking for when you look at the grades of beef. You're looking at select, that's 1 to 3 on the scale. You're looking at choice, which is like 60% of the beef that you get. That's like 3 to 8 on the scale. And then north of 8, you're looking at prime. That's what you get at the finest steakhouses in the country. Prime Angus beef. 8 plus is what you're looking for there. Sean's got cows that have been ultrasounded on the farm. 10, 12, 14, 18, 20 on this scale. More than double the standard for prime. If you want a freezer full of flavorful, tender, delicious beef, steaks, chuck roasts, ground beef. We did a roast the other day in the pot. Unbelievable. Do beef a different way. Go to Sigera Farms. You can get Sigera Farms beef 2 places, Supper Club and the farm. That's it. Make the short drive up to Ethel like I did. See Sean, see the facility, see the process he's got. Butcher cuts it all up for you. It's dry aged 45 days, raised on grass, finished on grain. It's a wonderful product. We're thrilled to have it in the freezer at the Palmer House. You could too. You just contact Sean at Sigera Farms. They bring you our Thursday shows each and every week. I'm going day by day, doing a preview of an LSU position group, and we've gotten to left field. for today. And left field is not going to be Derek Curiel, who manned left field every game for LSU last year except for one when he moved to center field. Chris Stanfield in game one of a doubleheader with Texas A&M had a rough day, had a couple misplays in the outfield, and just to kind of ease the tension there, Jay Johnson put Curiel in center field and moved Stanfield to left. That switch was made back the next day. But Stanfield's going to move to left field, and that sounds like a demotion. It's not a demotion. Derek Curiel came to LSU to be a center fielder, and he was always going to move to center field this year. Well, Chris Stanfield was supposed to be moved on to professional baseball, but no one called to draft him. So Stanfield came back and didn't even bat an eye when Jay Johnson said, we're going to move you to left, put Curiel in center. He didn't bat an eye. You're talking about a guy who was awarded last year for the work that he's done in the community, has been in an SEC clubhouse now for almost 4 years, an incredible teammate, and didn't bat an eye. And oh, by the way, incredibly productive. I told you in the last segment that I learned some things about Chris Stanfield today that I either never knew or didn't remember from last baseball season. Did you know that in Southeastern Conference play last year, 30 games, Chris Stanfield led LSU in hitting, 326. He hit 326 in league play. Better than Curiel, better than Milam, better than Jones. He was the best on the team. Better than Dickinson, better than Brown, better than Pearson. He hit 326 to lead the team. He also led the team in SEC play with 14 doubles in 30 games. He led the team in runs in SEC play with 25. When you talk about run creation, getting on base, getting into scoring position, and scoring, Chris Stanfield was among the most impactful offensive players LSU had in league play last year. In SEC games, he got on base at a 420 clip. That was second to only Daniel Dickinson. And y'all remember how often Dickinson walked and was hit by pitches last year. For the season, Chris Stanfield hit 298. He was on base at a 414 clip. And he was second on the team in doubles overall in the year. Now, there's a reason that MLB teams did not call to draft Chris Stanfield and sign him. Because his upside is very limited. He has no power, relatively speaking. He hit one home run last year. Crazily enough, it was in the postseason, in the regional. Hit it out to right field. He hasn't stolen a ton of bases at LSU. He doesn't have a really strong throwing arm. And his swing is a little bit flawed. Like, he's pretty much a dead pull hitter. He rarely hits the ball the other way. He had a huge opposite field home run in the regional last year. He had a huge infield in 2 RBI single to right field last year in the postseason. But most of the time, he hits the ball to left field. So his upside as a professional is just not really there. But he is a very good college player. Very good. So when I look at projections for this LSU team, like, there's probably not an easier projection on the team than left field. Chris Stanfield's going to hit about 300. He's going to hit maybe a homer or two. He's going to play great defense in left field. He's going to hit, very likely, 7th, 8th, or 9th. He's going to complain, never. And he's going to contribute to winning most games LSU plays. What else could you ask for? You've got to have superstars on your team. Curiel's a superstar. I think Milam's going to be a superstar. I think Brown's going to be a superstar. And you hope that you find 2 or 3 pitchers that are superstars. And Stanfield's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be a first-team All-American. I don't think he's going to be a first-team All-SEC player. But I'm really glad he's playing LSU's left field because he does things that you need to win games. And he does it with a smile on his face, team first. He's just the kind of guy you've got to have. It's interesting that his whole college career changed on a nondescript day in his freshman year. He goes out there. Paul Skeens is on the mound. He's a true freshman. He gets 2 hits. Jay Johnson remembered that. He noticed it. Stanfield goes in the portal. Good numbers, not great numbers. LSU's, at that point, gone to the portal for guys like Jacob Berry, Tommy White, Paul Skeens. They've gone into it for high-end players. Luke Holman, Thatcher Hurd, Gage Jump. These are the guys LSU has grabbed, not a guy that hit 270 for Auburn, but he's just a great piece to the puzzle. And again, I think that there may be a day based on matchup, or maybe there's an injury here or there where you move him up to hit leadoff or second, but way more often than not, he'll be in the 6, 7, 8, 9 spot in the order. And he won't be feared by any opposing dugout, but he'll produce. He'll hit the ball hard. It's that flat swing, a lot of low line drives. I mean, two of the best clutch moments of the season last year for Stanfield. The punch single through the right side in regional play, and then in the final game of the season, Game 2, championship series, LSU's put a run on the board, bases loaded, bang, Stanfield lines the ball into left field, 2 RBI single. LSU hangs 4 in the 4th inning there and never looked back. His heartbeat's going to be slow. He's seen it all. He's seen Skeens. He's seen the College World Series. He's seen the box. He's seen LSU get swept. He's seen LSU in a regional. He's played through falls. He knows what competition's about. It's just, I have so much respect and admiration for Chris Stanfield as a guy who is never going to be a star, but is just such a key piece to what LSU's doing. And I wrote about him a lot at LouisianaSports.net, and then also in those pieces when I preview a position, look at potential reserves. And keep in mind, LSU's outfield is low on reserves. You've got Curiel in center, Brown in right, Stanfield in left. And then, basically, you've got Daniel Hardin, who played at Catholic, went to junior college, and has now come back to LSU. He's left-handed. He's a good athlete. He's got real pop from the left side of the plate. And is a junior and might play a little bit this year, but I don't see a lot of room for him. Maybe a guy that will play next year when you lose all 3 of your starting outfielders. And you've got Mason Braun, who may play a little outfield, who's a high school first baseman, maybe DH a little bit. They've got John Pearson listed as an outfielder. I don't see him going out there and playing in the outfield. So it's kind of just the 3 starters, Hardin and Braun. That's your 5 guys. I expect the 3 main ones to play every day. Obviously, no more platooning for Jake Brown against left-handed pitchers. So it's among the best outfields in LSU history, I think. Now, there are some that I'm not aware of. I've told y'all many times, I'm not a history book of the early 90s. I can't help you with that. I know Lyle Mouton was a hell of a player. I know Joey Bell was a hell of a player. I know Armando Rios played in the major leagues for a long time. Like, there were great outfielders. But in the modern era that I'm familiar with, like, I would look at the 09 team that had Matuk in center as a freshman who became an SEC Player of the Year and was a first-round pick. You had Jared Mitchell in right field as a first-round pick, even though he wasn't insanely productive at LSU. He was a very, very good player, but wasn't like a 340 hitter at LSU. And then you had Ryan Shemp play some left field, and he was a guy that played in the big leagues for a long time. Leon Landry was on those teams as well, who was a high pick and played some high-level minor league baseball. Like, those teams were really good. You had Laird, Stevenson, Fraley. Stevenson and Fraley played in the big leagues, and Laird was a great hitter at LSU. I mean, you had those teams that had Duplantis and Cabrera in the outfield. But this is with Brown, who could emerge as a superstar, with Curiel, who already is and is going to be a top 15 pick in the draft, and then Stanfield, who, as I said, I already know what I'm going to get from him. I already know what his in-season stat line is going to be. It's going to be somewhere between 285 and 305. It's going to be some doubles. It's not going to be a lot of homers. It's going to be great defense. It's going to be in the 7 or 8 hole. That's what it is. That's a comforting thing to have, and he's a big, big piece to what they're going to do. They'll have to overhaul the whole thing this time next year, but we're not in this time next year. We're in this year, and it's a really, really good outfield for the Tigers. So that's a look at baseball for today. Again, you can read along at LouisianaSports.net for a little bit more. Didn't get through all the Lane Kiffin sound that I wanted to get to. There's some more recruiting talk that we'll get to, so we'll take a time out, come back and do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Shout out to the folks at Lifetime Roofing. They're online at lifetimeroofingla.com. Had a good conversation with the folks at Lifetime Roofing earlier today, and they want to remind you that, look, they've got that lifetime workmanship warranty. That's workmanship and materials over at Lifetime Roofing. So workmanship and materials, and that's backed by CertainTeed, which is one of the oldest and most trusted names in building materials. You know that you're getting a local company on your roof. You're getting some of the finest quality out there with CertainTeed, and you're getting a warranty on the workmanship and the materials for a lifetime. That's an amazing peace of mind they're offering at Lifetime Roofing. Obviously, we saw what happened last week in our city. Obviously, we know what comes in late summer with hurricanes. Make sure your roof is fortified. Make sure your roof is in the best condition it can be to protect your house and protect the people under that roof. That's what Lifetime Roofing wants to do for you. Check them out at lifetimeroofingla.com. It's Lifetime Roofing right here in Baton Rouge. lifetimeroofingla.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste Young remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
My father, J.B. Fabre, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Fabre.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sigera Farms.
I'm going to tell you about Fabre Chevrolet GMC. You can find them online at FabreChevrolet.com. I was telling you yesterday, they've got some amazing deals that are running through the month of February. They'll stop in the first week of March, so go by and see them this month if you can. If you're looking for a truck, they've got them at Fabre Chevrolet GMC. All the 2026 GMC Sierras are up to $13,000 off MSRP or 0% APR financing if you're a well-qualified buyer. So if you're looking for a GMC Sierra, up to $13,000 off. 2026 Silverados on the Chevy side, you're looking at $11,000 off MSRP or 1.9 APR financing for well-qualified buyers. So you can check out the inventory online at FabreChevrolet.com or make the short drive up to St. Francisville, Highway 61. They're right there. You'll have an unbelievable buying experience, great service after the sale. You know that when you shop with the Fabre families. If you're looking for a GMC Sierra, looking for a Chevy Silverado, a new truck in this new year, go see them at Fabre Chevrolet GMC. All right, we'll move back to LSU football. Lane Kiffin meeting with the media yesterday, and a lot of the most interesting discussion was about the recruiting, because it's really all we know about what Lane Kiffin has done to this point. And we talked about how hard he's working, his competitiveness, and what you've got to do to recruit in this era, and he's got a really good feeling for that. And part of it is having a general manager that you trust and that is very competent. And Lane Kiffin brought Billy Glascock to Baton Rouge from Oxford, and Lane Kiffin talked about the importance of Billy Glascock yesterday.
Billy does a tremendous job for a number of years now. I would like to think that people would say I was on this before other people were, that the value of a GM and how important it is. And it's been for a number of years, but especially as these contracts came into place. But really, if you want the answers of how to do something in college, usually just look to the NFL. They've been doing it a long time, and they do it as well as you could possibly do it in all areas. So I think when you talk about general managers, it's the same thing. Why would you not have a general manager that helps run the entire building with you? And if you look at the best runs in the NFL over time, is it's head coaches and general managers that work together. They're not placed together. They work together, and they're on the same page. And Billy and I now, after being together a few years, it's worked extremely well.
I think Billy Glascock's a huge piece to what LSU's doing. I've got all the respect in the world for Austin Thomas, and he obviously landed on his feet at a place that a lot of people listening to my voice right now don't care too much for. But I think Austin has got a lot of skins on the wall, and certainly Billy Glascock does as well. And that's the guy that's in charge of running this ship now as Lane Kiffin gets into football mode and gets into coaching mode and gets into play calling mode. Glascock's always overseeing the top, and that's a very, very important thing. Now, one of the things that Lane Kiffin talked about in his opening press conference was the state of Louisiana and how important that was. And we talked about how important Frank Wilson could be to keeping relationships in New Orleans and in Louisiana, and talked about how important this state is, even in the portal era, where you're going to go get Jordan Seaton and Sam Levitt and guys with no roots at all to the state of Louisiana. Getting Louisiana high school players is still important to some degree. And now Lane Kiffin's got to hit the ground running, creating those relationships. And we've seen him all over Twitter, all over New Orleans, in Shaw, going over to Cecilia, going up to Captain Shreve. You've seen him at Calvary, and he's been everywhere in the state over the last couple of weeks. And he's talked about the visits that he's taken to those schools.
The high schools here, it's been great going to them and receiving the feedback. And I've always enjoyed over time coming here and recruit, and just the people. I used to always say it's like they love football. And everybody says they love football. But the high school coaches here and the people around the school, like, they love football. They love coaching football. They love coaching the kids. They genuinely care about the kids, something that's kind of gotten lost a little bit. And so I'd love to sign a lot of Louisiana kids. We had a long meeting this week about that and about finding not the guys that are just on these lists that people put out and all these things as with all the stars, but to go find, because I know over time that there's always been great players here that aren't highly recruited. And so it's been awesome being around.
That's very true. Y'all know the list. I mean, one of them does our morning show every morning from 7 to 10. Jacob Hester, now, he offers from Texas and talked to some really big-time schools, and Nick Saban eventually landed his commitment at LSU, but he wasn't high up on the rivals list, not high up on the scout list at that time. And I mentioned in 2 segments ago your Duke Rileys and your Deion Jones and your Justin Jeffersons, and the list goes on and on and on about guys that Russell Gage wasn't highly thought of. He's played a long time in the NFL. You find guys in this state that are really good football players that maybe don't pop nationally year in and year out, and Lane Kiffin and Billy Glascock trust their evaluation to find some of those kids. Now, that does not apply to are Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson, who obviously were a big priority for the previous staff in this class, and they secured both of those commitments. And then that staff moves on, and Brian Kelly's no longer there, and then interim head coach and recruiting coordinator Frank Wilson's not there, and you feel like, well, might be some shaky ground. And look, those two guys did not sign the first day you could sign. They did not. I think everyone remembers that when I jog your memory, but you had the opportunity, the gates opened, and a bunch of faxes or whatever happens now came in, and Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson waited a day. And it was a big deal. And Lane Kiffin was asked about those two guys, their importance, and how quickly he could get to those guys. Now, Lane Kiffin was on the job as of Sunday into Monday when he had his press conference, and then signing days Tuesday into Wednesday into Thursday, and it was a lot of moving pieces, but got those two guys to ink.
Guys, to me, that, I get some credit for that when people are like, oh, Lane Kiffin signed the number one player in the country. Okay, LSU signed him. I don't know of any other school, like when you take those two, for instance, that we don't even have a D-line coach at the time solidified, and they still sign with LSU. That's not because of Lane Kiffin. That's not because Frank Wilson. Okay, that's the power of a place that they would decide to sign instead of waiting and having to see everything involved because they both knew it was LSU. That's why they were committed before Lane Kiffin got here. Big reason why we're here. When you have a place that can do things like that, that's that powerful in the way that kids think, that's a place you want to align with.
Look, I'm gonna opine on that for a second, and understanding that I'm opining on that without knowing for sure, and with an understanding that every case is different. I don't know how much LSU gave Lamar Brown when he was in high school, now that he's in college. I don't know. I don't know how much they paid Richard Anderson in high school. I don't know how much they paid him in college. You're going, wait, in high school? What do you mean? You can pay NIL stuff in high school, and that happens. It's legal in Louisiana. And so I don't know. And maybe those guys were just chasing dollar signs, and LSU was the biggest offer, and they signed. That is conceivable. I don't know that I believe it to be perfectly true, but it's certainly conceivable. And you've got relationships with Frank Wilson. Lane Kiffin's a big name. And certainly LSU's not going to get every single Louisiana kid every single year. But I do believe that somewhere along the line, that these kids that grow up in Louisiana, probably a little bit more specifically South Louisiana, there's going to be a pull there. And that's still an advantage for LSU. I don't know if that pull is as strong to Ole Miss and Mississippi State for kids from Mississippi when Bama comes knocking on the door, or LSU comes knocking on the door, or Georgia comes knocking on the door, or Auburn comes knocking on the door. I don't know if that pull is quite as strong. And it's not every kid. I can't speak to every circumstance. But if I speak in generalities, and I think about high school kids in this state, and what happened right after the turn of the century when Nick Saban got Marcus Spears to show up here, and got Michael Clayton to show up here, and got Marquise Hill to show up here, and flipped that narrative where in the 90s kids were going everywhere but LSU. Jerry DiNardo helped with that. Kevin Falk was a big deal. But since then, over the last 25 years, there's been a pull, and I don't think NIL and revenue sharing in the portal has destroyed it. Has it weakened things? Sure. I absolutely will grant you that. But I do believe, to Lane Kiffin's point, that LSU, being the flagship school in the state, and the big stadium, and the Saturday Night in Death Valley, and the Heisman trophies in the deal, and all the high school coaches being LSU guys, and there's just something to that. And I can't tell you that Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown weren't just holding their hand out for the most amount of money. I have no idea. But I just believe deep down there's something to LSU that helps. Now, you can't just punt and say, oh, they're giving you $1.1 million. All we got's like $25K, but hey, we got a big stadium and we play at night a lot. That doesn't work. But if you can be competitive, you can have an edge, I think. I may never know specifically. That's how I feel about it. And I think that Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson are indicative of that. So just food for thought. That's Lane Kiffin from yesterday. If you're looking for our LSU content, you can find it on YouTube, Hunt on LSU. Our next segment's not LSU-centric, but it does involve LSU because LSU plays them in the third game of the season. Trinidad Chambliss' waiver got denied yesterday. What does that mean, and why do I think it's shaping up like a Hallmark movie? We'll talk about that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
A lot of friends over at Ochsner. Look, February is Heart Month. It's a great time to focus on your overall health. Remember, regular checkups absolutely matter because early detection and guidance can keep you on track for a healthy heart. So schedule that primary care appointment at ochsner.org/brprimary. That's ochsner.org/brprimary. And they'll help you along the way. Look, you understand that staying active with regular exercise, great diet with fruits, vegetables, whole grains, managing your stress, getting sleep, avoiding smoking, limiting your alcohol, all those are very, very important in terms of your lifestyle. But also, you need to go by and see your primary care physician. So schedule that at ochsner.org/brprimary. Small steps today lead to a stronger heart tomorrow. Check out our friends at ochsner.org.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Parish brings that same championship mindset.
Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Okay, and what is our goal?
Less than 110.
That's right, less than 110.
We teach. We laugh. We pray.
Dear Heavenly Father, please guide our hands during this procedure.
Hey, how we feeling today?
I'm feeling better. We heal.
You look better.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
We do all things I got you. No way. With great love. FMOL Health. This is how we healthcare.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sigera Farms.
Sigera Farms Premium Angus Beef brings you our Thursday shows each and every week. Closing up the hour here, I found so much so much humor in this Trinidad Chambliss case. And it has very little to do with the actual outcome of the case. But here's why. So y'all probably saw yesterday that the NCAA denied Trinidad Chambliss' waiver to compete next season. And you're an LSU fan, you're thinking, oh, sucks for Ole Miss. See you in September. Well, it's not over. Now, Trinidad Chambliss will sue the NCAA. And this is where it, to me, gets humorous. The NCAA doesn't have a home base, according to the law. Because it has member institutions in every state, it's a resident of every state. So the NCAA is having to fight all of these eligibility concerns in the backyard of all the players. Okay? So there have been instances in Tuscaloosa and Knoxville where the judges have recused themselves because they're big fans of the school. So Trinidad Chambliss, who is likely the Heisman favorite, just played for a team that was in the Final Four in football, in this multi-billion-dollar sport that played in New Orleans and in Glendale and is playing these massive games on massive TV in front of tens of thousands of people. His case, whether or not he will be able to play next year, essentially will be decided by an Ole Miss alum judge in Pittsboro, Mississippi. If you think, well, I know quite a few towns and cities in Mississippi, I'm not sure where Pittsboro is. I looked it up. The population is somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 people. It sounds like To Kill a Mockingbird. It's like you're taking this massively impactful suit over $5 million in NIL, and you're putting it in a one-stoplight town in front of a judge who pulls for the football team. If you don't see humor in that, I don't know what you can find humor in.
It's just like...
It's unbelievable.
It's sickening. I'm going to be real, man. I'm sick of it because I remember growing up, we see players, by the league, because man, I wish we can get him for one more year. I wish Leonard Fournette can stay for one more season. Now you got dudes 6 years in, no, we need one more year. No, we ain't going.
Here's the deal if you're an LSU fan and all you care about is the result. He's going to win. He's going to be Ole Miss's quarterback next year. You may have done your little cheers and chuckle at Ole Miss yesterday when he got his waiver declined. The judge will look at the case, and he will look at it, and he will determine that he will at least put an injunction on the NCAA to keep them away, and he'll play. It's like the Wisconsin transfer DB to Miami. He played. It's like Charles Bediako. He played. He's going to play. They're arguing whether or not the year he didn't play at Ferris State was because he was down on the depth chart, and he practiced and just didn't play because he wasn't good enough, or because he was dealing with a tonsil issue and mono and he couldn't breathe and so he couldn't play. And who knows? People are going, what about the documentation? Ferris State's provided some documentation. There is no medical red shirt at that level. So they didn't file for a medical red shirt because it doesn't exist at that level. And now they're trying to retroactively go back and declare that it's an extra year of eligibility. Joey Aguilar's looking for year 100. He played 4 JUCO seasons and then App State and now Tennessee. TJ Finley got hurt twice on the field. So plus he's got a COVID year, so that's how he gets his 8th year, whatever it is. As I've said before, and I got chastised by someone on the internet for it, I'm an LSU guy. Would I rather Trinidad Chambliss or Deuce Knight play quarterback for Ole Miss in Game 3? I'll take Deuce Knight. Is that going to happen? No. Trinidad Chambliss is going to win. It's a court case that doesn't involve a jury. The judge is the end-all. He's a Delta State alum, but he went to Ole Miss Law School, and Pittsboro is the cherry on top of this thing. I looked it up on Wikipedia. It's the size of this studio. There are more people in your church on Sunday, wherever you go, than live in this entire town.
I've seen plenty of those towns in Mississippi. It's like all they got is a church, a grocery store, and that's about it. And a cemetery. That's it. You just drive straight
Maybe
through.
they got a new Zaxby's around the corner.
Yeah, and that's it. And everybody know each other in the town. Like,
of course, and that's they're deciding the University of Mississippi's quarterback whether he's eligible to play or not. Newsflash: I know how that one's gonna go. So that hearing will come up in a week, and he'll win, and he'll be the quarterback at Ole Miss. But I think it's like a bad movie. It's like, well, this big high-profile suing the NCAA. Well, where are they hearing the case? Like Indianapolis, New York City? Nope, Pittsburgh down the road, 250 population. Judge went to the school.
Yeah.
See how that's going to go. Incredible stuff. All right, we got a lot to do in hour number 2. Chris Blair talking Tigers. We'll also talk SEC baseball with Joe Healey. Missed any of hour number 1? Catch it on demand. We'll pause for national headlines. Be back with some more. It's a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is the website. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Don't go to the website. Just go see them. They're on Segan at Perkins. Awesome place to enjoy some weekend fun. You don't feel like getting a tee time or being out 5.5 hours playing golf, trying to cram yourself in somewhere. Just get a bay, personalized or with your group at Swing Easy Golf Club. Fire up Pebble Beach. Take on a U.S. Open golf course. Cypress Point. They got that on there as well. You want to play Bethpage Black where they play the Ryder Cup? You can do that as well. Play it from the up tees. Play it from the back tees. You hit your tee shots. You hit your iron shots. It's incredibly accurate software. You do chip and putt as well. They'll deliver you a bucket of beer at Swing Easy Golf Club, too. You can crank the tunes, put some television on. It's a great place to hang out. So go see them at Segan near Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club, great place to work on your game, great place to hang out, just involve golf in your weekend. We're getting close to the weekend. Go by and see them over at Swing Easy Golf Club.
Make Raising Cane's the first stop for your second line. Get extra saucy with a Cane's doubloon for just $1 that scores you extra cane sauce through April 3rd with any purchase. Let the good times roll this Mardi Gras with Raising Cane's. One love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Transform your living space with Lacoste Young remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Superstar, but didn't feel a sense of urgency to make a trade, so Giannis is staying in Milwaukee. The sides will revisit a potential trade this offseason, explains ESPN NBA reporter Jamal Collier.
Biggest thing for the Bucks, they're going to have more draft capital going forward in the offseason to potentially trade. They're going to potentially have a good draft pick of their own if they can. They're currently out of the play-in tournament as well, and they have not given up the idea of salvaging the Giannis era here in Milwaukee.
Antetokounmpo does expect to play this season once he recovers from his calf strain. Knicks acquired point guard Jose Alvarado from the Pelicans. This in the wake of New York guard Miles McBride undergoing core muscle surgery. He is expected to miss significant time. Pacers landed their center for the future, traded for the Clippers' Ivica Zubac, 2 first-round picks and a second-rounder to L.A. Tigers star lefty Tarek Skubal won his arbitration and will be paid $32 million this MLB season. How this decision, though, impacts the future of Skubal in Detroit is unclear.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming on Friday. Super Bowl 60 is finally here. I'll tell you who wins and why. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sigera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane studio, this is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Hour 2, Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, working towards the weekend. We're getting close. Talk to Chris Blair in 15 minutes. Joe Healey, D1 Baseball's SEC Extra Team. With us at the bottom of the hour, we'll start our SEC baseball conversations. Big picture stuff this week. Next Thursday, when we talk to Joe, we'll kind of preview the opening weekend in the SEC. But I want to talk about a number of the schools around the league. It's interesting because I asked this question 2 years ago in a poll on Twitter, and LSU basketball was not playing well. And baseball was highly anticipated, ranked first in the country. And I said, do y'all want me to start talking about like some of the other teams in the SEC in baseball? Or like, is that something that would interest anybody in February? Like, I know y'all aren't going to watch a lot of that in February. It's more something that you get into in April, May, June. And the resounding like response was like, yeah, just talk about baseball, anything but mulling around with basketball. I said, okay, I can do that. So we'll talk a little bit about SEC. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it most days, but a little bit coming up at the bottom of the hour today. For two Saints today, a big, big day, award night. And the feeling is not overwhelming confidence that either will win their award, right? But last year, there was a lot of confidence that Cam Jordan would win Walter Payton Man of the Year, and he didn't. So maybe it flips on its head this year. We'll start with Walter Payton Man of the Year. And DeMario Davis is up for that award. You know, I hear a lot of Saints fans talk about Trey Hendrickson. Let him walk, didn't pay him. It wasn't a great call. I'll give you that. I hear a lot of fans talk about Caden Ellis making plays that you had him and you let him walk. And there are a number of Saints around the NFL that you let walk. And that's a huge black mark on the current brass up at the top of the organization to have these guys in your building and to let them walk. But at the same token, the Jets let DeMario Davis walk twice. The Browns had him, moved on. And the Saints did have the foresight to go get him after he had played 6 years in the NFL. Doesn't make you a spring chicken 6 years in. And what they've gotten is 8 years of exceptional play on the back end of that. So you got to give a little bit of credit there. It's incredible what Demario Davis has done, not only on the field, but off the field in New Orleans. And the stuff that he will get recognized for most is absolutely the stuff on the field, because he's been as consistently productive and available a linebacker as there has been in the National Football League in his era, period. I didn't say unquestionably the best linebacker of his era, but you can't find anybody more available, more productive, more consistent at his spot in the league since 2012, really, but in the Saints sense, since 2018. And that's what he'll be known for. But those of us in the community, in the state, know how much he's meant to that city. And Demario sat down with Matt yesterday in San Francisco and talked about how New Orleans is home, and New Orleans is so important to him. And no matter where he plays or what he moves on to after football, he'll still be involved in New Orleans with the youth and just all the amazing things that he has done. So whether or not he wins the award tonight or not, he's still going to be one of the most fondly remembered Saints ever. Like, I don't even think anyone's going to blame him if he signs somewhere else this offseason. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to take him back. I think they're going to pay him. I think he's going to be back. But the run has been so good, so long, so consistent, and the mark he's made on the community has been so indelible that he's just an all-timer. And so hopefully tonight he's recognized for that incredible work off the field. On the field, he's been an all-pro. He's been a Pro Bowler. He's been paid handsomely, and he'll be a Saints Hall of Famer. But here's a chance for a huge honor off the field, which would be such a great thing for Demario. We were bummed out when Cam didn't win it last year. Hopefully, you get that this year, even if he doesn't win, though. Still a remarkable accomplishment to be up in a finalist for this award. Now, on the other side, this is all on the field with Tyler Shuck. And based on the odds, I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. He did win the fan vote today. Pepsi Rookie of the Year, voted by the fans, he won. Now, how much of that is New Orleans flooding the ballot box, and how much of that is the national landscape really believing he was the best rookie in the NFL? I don't care. Doesn't really matter. But here's something, the way that I choose to phrase this. Because there are finalists for this award, and we all think Tetairoa McMillan's going to win it. Instead of Rookie of the Year, how about we call it Rookie Your Franchise Would Like to Have? You think the Panthers would trade Tetairoa McMillan for Tyler Shuck? I do. Now, I'm not a Bryce Young believer, and maybe the Panthers really do believe he's the guy to lead them deep into the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. And there's not a lot of proof that Tyler Shuck's the guy to lead you deep into the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. He's never even been to the playoffs. Bryce Young at least got him there this year. But for me, I think if you asked a lot of teams without a bell cow quarterback, like, hey, what rookie from the league would you want this year? And we talked about it earlier last week with that redraft that ESPN did. Shuck's going to be the guy. So for Saints fans who will tune in tonight and see the NFL awards show and be bummed out should Shuck not win, take solace in this. He may not have won Rookie of the Year, but he's rookie you'd like to have. He's rookie you'd like your franchise to be invested in right now. Because the stuff he showed down the stretch, despite the schedule, was awesome. And so I hope he wins it. I don't think Vegas is going to get out over their skis and screw this one up and get taken for all they're worth. So I think that Tetairoa McMillan will win the award. But rookie you'd like to have, I think that's Shuck. And then the third piece to this puzzle is the Hall of Fame announcement. And of course, we all believe that Drew Brees will go in on the first ballot. This is not the time. I've got a couple minutes left in this segment to go on your Drew Brees soliloquy. But I would say this. I think Saints fans should really enjoy this because, as you now are very well aware of, getting a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback doesn't happen for everybody. Look at Carolina. Look at the Jets. I mean, I could go on and on and on with these teams that haven't had a first ballot Hall of Famer at quarterback for 12 years in most people's lifetimes. Bears. Vikings got it for one good run, and you ended it. Just look around the league. It doesn't happen that often. And the Saints did get it. And I know that it's more important to you that you get the next one. It's hard to do. Not everybody's the Packers. Not everybody goes Rodgers to Favre. We'll see what Drake May becomes. Not everybody goes Montana to Young. Like, that's a hard thing to do. But hopefully you've got your next guy. But if you're a Saints fan, tonight, like, raise a glass or tell a Drew Brees story. Because, like, that's a really cool thing to have gotten to experience. And we all wish that the Minneapolis Miracle didn't happen and the Nolan No Call didn't happen and Beastquake didn't happen and Vernon Davis didn't happen. And there were so many close calls, and the last one being Tom Brady finishing things in an empty dome, which was just a gutting scene to finish Drew Brees' career in New Orleans in an empty dome. But tonight can be a celebration because Brees is going to go on the first ballot, and it's very, very cool that no matter if you're 12 right now or 70 right now, like, you got to see some of the best football anyone's ever seen at that position, and tonight's a night to celebrate that. So, look, a big night for New Orleans. 3 awards that, well, Hall of Fame being an award, I guess, that you're up for. Brees is going to get in. Hopefully, the other 2 guys are honored. Either way, you got the great quarterback play in your rear view. Hopefully, you've got it out in front of the dashboard. And then, DeMario. What an all-time franchise representative that hopefully gets his award tonight. So that's the Saints gamut from San Francisco this evening. How do we feel about it, Jordan?
I mean, the Walter Payton Man of the Year, that would be a cool honor. I wish Shuck would have beat the Falcons at the end of the year because I really think he could have had a chance to maybe, people would have been like, all right, well, how strong he finished the season off. But
you got the 4th place schedule.
I mean, look, you're right, but you know how I feel. We know.
I know it's wrong, but I know.
But when the season starts, I'm like, we got a pretty easy schedule, so it's all nice. But I really feel like he would have had a very good chance at winning it. And Drew Brees, there's really nothing to say about my Brees' Christ. He's just done so much, just not even for the city, but just reviving the city. Like, he actually made it cool to be a Saints fan for a little bit. And then it just went away when he left. But
that's literally the case in my house. My wife was just the biggest hootat there ever was when Drew was there. He moves on. She doesn't watch a game ever. Just never watches one.
And it's true. Like, Drew Brees made it cool to be a Saints fan. Like, and before that, because my people always be like, yeah, this is what the Saints was like before Brees was here. Like, this little, well, even though we turned it around a little bit now, but those Dennis Allen years, this what life was like before Brees got here. This nothing new. But that's not my life. My whole life was Drew Brees. So Drew Brees, he's done a lot, but I just really, 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 really wish we would have beat the Falcons so Shuck could have got it.
We'll talk about Brees tomorrow, I think, in a little bit more depth. But there's a look at the Saints on this awards night out at the Super Bowl in San Francisco. Matt will have a lot more from San Francisco later on today, 45 minutes from now on After Further Review. Back with Chris Blair next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, go by and see him. Go get a campus tour at Marucci. Every wooden bat Marucci makes is handcrafted right here in Baton Rouge. All of them. It was founded here in Baton Rouge, but all the bats are made here. 1,200 of them. You want to go see how that's done, or you want to take kiddos in your house to go see how it's done, or you want to take your youth softball team or youth baseball team to go see how it's done? Go do it. Take a campus tour at Marucci. Every ticket comes with a 20% discount, campus tour, and hitter's house. So you can go by, grab some bats, take some swings. Season's upon us. Time to get fine-tuned. This weekend, the weather will be great, but sometimes this time of year, not that great. Always great inside at Marucci. Such a cool place that we've got right here in our city, where they send bats all over the world to the greatest players in the world because they're the best, and they're right here in the capital city. So go by and see them. Watch them make those 1,200 bats a day. Book a campus tour at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. That's maruccisports.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
At Parish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com.
Okay, and what is our goal?
Less than 110.
That's right, less than 110.
We teach. We laugh. We pray.
Dear Heavenly Father, please guide our hands during this procedure.
Hey, how we feeling today?
I'm feeling better. We heal.
You look better. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
We do all things
I got you. No way.
with great love. FMOL Health. This is how we healthcare.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Schoenfegen and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sigera Farms.
Back here on this Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sigera Farms Premium Angus Beef. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hear Chris because I can't hear in my ears right now, so that's going to be a problem if I can't. Chris, do we have you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Is this on?
Yeah, if I can't hear him. So go ahead and I'll try. Get me some more headphones.
Okay, here.
And we'll work from there. I think my outlet finally gave out here. On this, we got Jordan's headphones. We'll try that on for size. See if that'll work. Quality stuff here.
We'll fill in for a little bit. They're good?
Testing one.
All right, let's
two,
see.
1, 2.
I can't. I'm not gonna be able to hear. It's not the headphones. It's the jack. That'll work. Let's see if that does the trick. Chris, do I have you?
Hello.
I gotcha. How about that?
Yeah.
The magic of technology, none of which I understand at all. But thankfully, they employ people here at Guarantee who understand some of this stuff, and they can help me try to get on the air. So let's have a conversation about it. I'm curious. You've seen a lot of SEC basketball now, both in person and courtside. Who do you think the best team in the league is?
Wow, that kind of changed. That was a great game last night in Tuscaloosa. Obviously, two of the fastest moving teams in Alabama and Texas A&M, and Alabama was able to hold them off. And, again, I know they're just one game above 500 in league play, but Texas A&M was kind of cruising along there. And I think a lot of people, after 7, 8, conference games are kind of like, wow, we didn't think Texas A&M would be the best team, but it's kind of hard to argue with their winning. But having said all that, I got to be honest, man, looking at the rosters and seeing them up front, I know they were up and down, played a tough schedule, but I got to tell you, that front line for Florida, I just think they're going to make it difficult for any team, as they get, better and the season gets deeper. I mean, for my money, the teams I've seen, both television and in, with my own eyes, I got to tell you, I think Florida is a team that's just a tough out regardless of who they play in the SEC or beyond.
Have you noticed a tick down in quality of play from last year, which was just absurd?
Yeah, because, again, Florida to me is a great example. I mean, they've got the Jack and the Beanstalk Giants down there in the lane, and they just seem to rotate them in and out. I would say Florida's probably, and again, this is, it's all relative, but I think their Achilles heel is their backcourt, where I think they were a little stronger last year, both inside and out. I think obviously Alabama still plays their style, but I don't think they're near as good as they have been in years past. And again, when you take a look at the SEC, to start this week, obviously it's changed with a couple of games, but when you look at the 16 teams, there are 14 of those that had 3 or more losses in conference play. So again, I mean, I think the parity is there. I don't think there is 1 or 2 teams that are just head and shoulders better than everybody else. But I also think from top to bottom, the SEC is not as individually or team talented as they were a year ago. It's not to say it's not a great league, and it's not to say there's not great players and great teams in it that certainly have the ability to make a run and win the whole thing. I just think for pound, it's not as overly talented. And I don't think that the top and bottom are as separated. And even though last year was a lot of parity, I just think on any given night, to borrow a phrase, a team can beat you. Look at the LSU-Arkansas game, coming up on 2 weeks ago. When Arkansas, there are nights when they look like they could beat anybody in the country. There's nights where they look like they can lose to everybody in the country. And Georgia, LSU's next opponent, is a perfect example. I thought they were red hot to start the season. It's hard to believe they're 4-5, a game under 500 in SEC play. But again, that shows you any given day, any given night, you got to go out there and perform.
Set the scene for LSU in Columbia. It was a weird deal. South Carolina has not played very well. This weather was coming in. They moved the game up. I was listening to you and Coach Brady, so I got a sense of where this is going. But what was that arena like on Saturday?
Very 2020-ish and a little bit of 2021-ish. Again, I understand why. Their team certainly has struggled. I've got a lot of good friends that are Carolina grads, went to dinner with a couple on Friday. Neither one of those went to the game. And I should mention, these are diehard Gamecock fans, and they are more diehard Gamecock basketball fans than any other sport. So I think you put in the weather, moving the game up. When we got there 2 hours to tip off, I mean, the flakes started to get thicker and it started to collect on the ground. And, having spent 15 years living in South Carolina, in Fayetteville, those people are kind of accustomed to it. Columbia shuts down when snow comes. So it was weird. It was a quiet arena, and the biggest fear that we talked about with Coach McMahon before the game, and he and I talked about it Monday night, was, again, both teams had to create their own energy because there was none in that building.
None at all, but LSU was able to emerge with a win. And I thought offensively it was just really good, even without their point guard once again, Deon Thomas missing some time. How were you impressed by their offense?
Well, I go back to the last 3 games, Hunt, and that is Arkansas, Mississippi State, and South Carolina. And you can certainly make the argument, it's not a difficult argument to make, that Arkansas is a team that certainly is plenty of talent to wrestle with, and South Carolina, Mississippi, not so much. But in the 2 games LSU lost, there was a 21-point differential between 3-point makes, 18 points against Mississippi State. So LSU played their game. That they do what they do, which is try to get 35, 40-plus points in the paint and then add to that some nice timely threes. And the fact that, they won an overtime game to move to 2-0 in overtime on the road, no less, this year, was simply because the three-point line was even. Both teams made 9. LSU held their own, got a slight advantage on the glass, didn't get killed, even though they gave up offensive rebounds. They were able to, again, limit their turnovers. So they did all of the things that LSU, I think, does when they compete with not only teams that have the same record as them, Hunt, but teams that have a better record than them. To me, right now, over the last, again, 3 games, I think it comes down to 3-point shooting. Not that LSU's got to hit 13 a game, but they can't have 15 to 20-point differential between their opponents. So if they can hit anywhere from 7 to 9, I like the fact that they're going to be able to get 30, 40-plus points around in the paint, because I think this LSU team is successful when that score is in the 70s, not the 80s or 90s.
Saw a D1 Baseball today put out a list of their top 150 outfielders. LSU had 3 of the top 81 outfielders with Derek Curiel, Jake Brown, and Chris Stanfield. I believe that's probably the highest floor and strength of the team. How do you see LSU's outfield returning this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's impressive. I mean, again, I was having a conversation earlier today with a buddy of mine at another school in another conference, and he was talking about how much talent that LSU has, doing some preseason research. And, I told him, I said, it's amazing what Coach Johnson's been able to do. Again, to have this kind of stockpile of talent in a day and age where we all know that's difficult to do, certainly in football and basketball. But Jay's still able to do it. I mean, it's a team that I think certainly you almost got 2 SEC teams. And I know that sounds boastful and sounds crazy, but, I think when you go and watch the scrimmages, which I know that you've done, it's not as if you're watching 1s and 2s. You're kind of figuring out which guy do you think is going to get the majority of at-bats and majority of innings in the field. I think they've got a team that can compete for the SEC if everybody stays healthy. I think they got another team of guys that could stay healthy and probably finish middle of the pack or the upper tier of the SEC, and that's just downright amazing. But the outfield, I think, is going to be fun to watch, just simply because it's going to be hard with the speed, with the talent, to be able to find those alleys and some of the moves that Jay has made, which, again, I go back to his previous years where, you've looked preseason about who's going to be at shortstop, who's going to be at second base, and we all kind of think, well, I wonder how this is going to work out. Well, in Jay we trust. I mean, that's just something I've been saying for a number of years now, and the moves he's made in the outfield are going to make them, I think, one of the best trios in all the country.
Could be one of the best in school history if they all play to their potential, and that would include a big breakout from Jake Brown, getting a little bit more playing time with no Josh Pearson in the mix this year. Chris, we appreciate the time. We'll see you in the PMAC on Saturday.
You got it, boss.
Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, LSU and Georgia Saturday from the PMAC. You can find he and John Brady courtside and listen to him on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. They'll be there 30 minutes before the game tips off on Saturday from the box. All right, I got my headphones all sorted out, so that's a good thing. We'll tell you right now about Fabre Chevrolet GMC before we get to Joe Healey. Highway 61 in St. Francisville, under new ownership with the Fabre family. They've been in business in this town for 35 years. 3 locations, 5 brands now with that Chevrolet GMC point in St. Francisville on Highway 61. You can see the entire inventory at FabreChevrolet.com. And if you're looking for a truck, February is the month. They've got Chevy Silverados up to $11,000 off MSRP, 1.9 APR financing. GMC Sierras, $13,000 off MSRP, 0.0% APR for 35 months. Great deals on trucks. If you're looking to get into a new truck coming up this year, new year, go see him at Fabre Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, or make the short drive make the short drive to Highway 61 in St. Francisville, or go to the website. That's FabreChevrolet.com. Joe Healey, D1 Baseball's SEC Extra Team, good enough to join us every week on Thursdays moving forward. Let's talk a little SEC baseball. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Tub to shower conversion. Relatively speaking, it's quick and easy. When you say renovation, remodel, a lot of folks will think, oh, big time, big scale, very, very cost-intensive, labor-intensive, time-intensive, invasive. It doesn't have to be. If you've got a bathtub, one of those big jacuzzis, one that doesn't function, one that you just don't ever get in, because you don't take baths. Kramer on Seinfeld said, I'm not going to sit in a tepid pool of my own filth. Understood. You don't have to. Get a tub to shower conversion. Take that tub out, put a gorgeous glass walk-in shower in, change the functionality and the aesthetic of your bathroom, add a little value to your home, and just enjoy the bathroom a little bit more. David is happy to have a free conversation with you. You can find that consultation at onebathandclosets.com. And if you get to the finish line and you're thinking about financing options, they've got 0% up to 18 months, same as cash. So get that consultation at onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste Young remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
It's 2026 and you're thinking about your future. College, workforce, tech school? This could help clear it up for you. According to a 2025 Georgetown University study, ITI Technical College ranked as the #1 college in all of Louisiana for return on investment. So the better return on your dollar for your education begins here. Call us or visit us online to start your new career or to get the life that you've always wanted for your family. ITI Technical College. We're in the better life business.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
I'm lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sigera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sigera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Working towards the weekend. Appreciate you hanging out with us. You know, just over a week ago, LSU's basketball season, for all intents and purposes, kind of came to a halt as they lost a home game to Mississippi State. Fan base was kind of up in arms, really put out. And I was writing my post-game story for that basketball game, kind of putting the obituary on the basketball season. And all of a sudden, I look at my Twitter feed. There goes Joe Healey tweeting a LSU season preview for the baseball team. Very opportunistic tweeting time, I noticed. Joe's good enough to give us some more time here on Thursdays moving forward. Joins us on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. That was strategery, wasn't it, Joe?
You know, a little bit. People don't give me enough credit sometimes. I'm not just some joker who spouts off on podcasts and on radio shows, but yeah, a little bit. I'm happy to be LSU fans' annual bridge from basketball season to baseball season.
Well, it's here. We're a week and a day away from first pitch out at the box, LSU in Milwaukee. Let's talk some big picture stuff in the SEC first. Appreciate your time. Florida, weird fall. Key assistant now moved on. Kevin O'Sullivan back with the program. What can you tell us about what the last 6-8 months has been like for the folks in Gainesville?
For the folks on the outside looking in, it looks like it's been pretty chaotic, right? You mentioned, leave of absence for Kevin O'Sullivan. He was gone for basically the entire fall for all intents and purposes. promote Chuck Girolamo to the interim head coach, but then he's gone a week later to Tennessee. You bring in Tom Slater, who hasn't coached in college in almost 20 years. It seems pretty chaotic, but I saw him in the fall. Mark Etheridge saw him in the fall. I talked to others who are more local to the Gators and see them in the fall, and they say, yeah, the team just kind of took it in stride, and it was kind of all business. And, anecdotally, I can tell you that tends to be the way Florida's players are. Like, it does tend to be a pretty buttoned-up group in terms of taking care of their business and what have you. I don't worry so much about what effect that might have for the Gators in the 2026 season. I think maybe Kevin O'Sullivan will be a little more engaged than he's been in the past because he won't have a veteran assistant like Chuck Girolamo next to him that he's had for the better part of a decade. And I think that might actually be a good thing for Florida, that maybe Kevin O'Sullivan's going to have his finger on the pulse a little bit more this season. Where I worry, though, a little bit more about it is that Chuck Girolamo was a big part of their recruiting. And, obviously I think they will be fine. I'm not suggesting anything's going to fall off the table, but the margins are thin in recruiting in the SEC. And you just took, you're one of your best recruiters, the guy who is your recruiting coordinator, and now he's working for one of the rivals at Tennessee. So I don't have as much worry for Florida in the 26th season as I do for does this end up impacting recruiting at all down the road. You
mentioned Chuck Girolamo going to Tennessee. Tony Vitello no longer there, and there's a lot of been upheaval on that staff. Still a very talented team, but what do you make of this first year post-Vitello for Tennessee?
Yeah, so this is kind of the opposite of Florida. I actually worry more about the 26th season for Tennessee than I do for the future. I think the recruiting is going to continue. Josh Elander is a fantastic recruiter. Was one of the hottest assistant coaching names in college baseball. I think it was the right thing for them to promote Josh Elander to the big chair. But I do worry a little more about 2026 for a couple of reasons. One is the Frank Anderson factor of it all. He also left for the Giants for like a roving instructor type of role. And I think there's an argument to make maybe you take Nate Yeske and then Frank Anderson and maybe just a couple of others around the country, and those are your elite pitching coaches at this level. And Frank Anderson might be the most accomplished pitching coach in college baseball of this era, full stop, just given all that he's done. Josh Reynolds was his protege and is taking over that role. I don't doubt his ability, but there's no doubting that Frank Anderson, everywhere he's been, he's made pitching better. And then when he leaves, things get a little bit worse. And so I worry a little bit from that standpoint. I also don't totally love this position player group in the way I've loved previous position player groups for Tennessee. The sophomore class they have that were freshmen last year was a bunch of guys like Levi Clark and Jay Abernathy that had good half seasons, but kind of struggled to put it together and make it a full season of good production. Those guys are going to have to make the leap if Tennessee is going to be a elite type of SEC club this year.
Joe Healey is our guest, part of the D1 Baseball SEC Extra Team, Highway to Hoover podcast. If you're looking for a baseball fix, they've been putting out a daily podcast previewing an SEC team, almost done with that, so you can go check that out at the Highway to Hoover feed there. I've been listening every day as they drop them, and because I've been doing that, I know that Joe is very high on the Mississippi State Bulldogs and Coach Brian O'Connor in his first year in Starkville. Why, Joe?
I think it's a really well-rounded team. Let's start with the players. Like, the position player group is really strong. They got everybody back on campus that they would have wanted to keep at Mississippi State. They didn't have this huge exodus via the portal, so that's one. They brought in a handful of guys that came over from Virginia with Brian O'Connor. So position player-wise, they might be 12, 13, 14 deep with guys they really trust to be everyday guys. The talent on the mound is excellent. It is just stuff after stuff after stuff. I think, LSU, Florida also kind of in that mix in terms of raw stuff, but Mississippi State is right there. So they're asking some guys to do some different things this year on the mound. So that makes you a little bit nervous when you're taking relievers and trying to convert them to starters, because that doesn't always work. But I have a great deal of trust they're going to do it. But the biggest thing for me is actually just kind of vibes-based, and that's that I think Brian O'Connor is exactly the right guy to be the head coach at Mississippi State. He's won a national title. He's been to Omaha a bunch more times, and he's got the right demeanor for that place. That place is a fishbowl from a baseball standpoint, and if you're playing well, it is one of the best places you can possibly play college baseball. But if things are going poorly, that place can really get on you, and it can feel really, really claustrophobic. But Brian O'Connor is just a steady guy. Like, he's one of those guys you look at him and you can't tell if his team is up 10 runs or down 10 runs. If they've made 6 errors or no errors. And I think that's going to serve them well in Starkville, just because you kind of have to have that type of attitude.
You mentioned something I want to drill down on there, and it's relievers going into the starting rotation. That's going to be the expectation in Austin, Texas, and Baton Rouge. With Kason Evans here at LSU and Dylan Volantis in Austin, those two guys were standout freshman relievers. They are expected to get the ball a week from tomorrow. How do you feel about those two guys?
I feel pretty positive about both because I think to the extent that we can predict these things, and I do think there is just some, like, I don't want to say luck, 'cause it's not luck, but for folks like you and I who aren't in the dugout every day, like, it is a little bit of a guessing game on which ones are going to take and which ones aren't. But I'm more confident in Volantis and Case and Evans versus some others because the way they were used suggested that they were already kind of stretched out. These were not guys, they were, hey, let's go get 3 outs, and now we're trying to make this guy a starter. These were guys that threw, especially Volantis, just threw enough innings to where it's like, well, they really weren't that far off from being starters as it was. So they were already probably being stretched out, being trained as if they were starters. It just so happened they weren't throwing starters innings. And so for them, it's just going to be, can you get the mental piece down where, hey, I'm not coming in the middle of a game. I have to have a starter's routine. And in the case of Case and Evans, it might be, hey, and Volantis for that matter, hey, I'm a Friday guy. Like, and there's something different about being a Friday guy in this league. You know that. So for me, it's going to be more of the mental piece. From a physical piece, I don't have as much worry about those kinds of guys as I do, just to give you a counterexample, as I do Gabe Gackle. I'm a little more worried about him just from the standpoint of the way his repertoire works. The way it was put to me by a scout one time is that every pitch he throws is either a chase or it's a ball. You know, it's his stuff is predicated on, let me elevate a fastball and then let me hit you with this hammer breaking ball. And if you're able to see it well, you can let that breaking ball go low, you can let the fastball go up. And that's where he got in trouble when he tried to start last year, was that his pitch count was at 100 pitches in the 4th inning, and that's just ultimately not tenable. I don't have as many worries about that kind of thing with Volantis and Case and Evans.
Talking about Friday starters, Paul Maneri for the 2nd year in a row looks to be without his for the season. How big a loss is that for South Carolina, who will visit Baton Rouge later this spring?
Yeah, it's huge because Jake McCoy was awesome this summer. Like, might have been the best pitcher in the Cape Cod League over the summer, and he was there when the talent was really good in the Cape. The talent fluctuates on the Cape, you know, based on when in the summer you're there. He was there when the talent was good, when all the Team USA guys were still there, and he might have been the best pitcher on the Cape all summer. So it's huge, and now they've got some other issues. KJ Scobie, their starting shortstop, is a little bit banged up, a shoulder thing, diving for a ball in the infield a couple days ago. You know, he's down now. They're not really sure exactly what the prognosis is there, but certainly not something you want to be dealing with. The deck was already stacked against them. It was already going to be a tough row to hoe for them to be anything close to a postseason team, and now this is, I don't want to say it would take a miracle, but it would take something pretty special for this group to challenge to be a postseason team.
Those are pretty heavy words. One team that did not make the postseason last year, Texas A&M. This will be the last one for you, Joe. Obviously, pretty important season coming up for Michael Early. How do you like the Aggie roster right now?
I like the roster, and I say that very specifically because I do like the talent on that roster. I think it's maybe top 20, top 15 on talent alone. But the thing about it is, and I said this on the Texas A&M preview podcast, that I go back and listen to it for your listeners, like you said, it's the ultimate hedge that we've got them 25 in our rankings because on talent, they should be higher. But if you believe that there's just something that's not quite right, whether it's this coaching staff with this roster or whatever it is, just being talented again is not going to fix the problems because last year they were talented too. Like nobody looked at that team last year and was like, well, they're just not talented enough. Like they're just overmatched. Like that really wasn't the case. It was just that there was something, whether it was, you know, yes, they dealt with some injuries, but it looked like there was also just some mental stuff happening there. And unless you can convince me that they've totally fixed that, and it's impossible for someone to convince me of that at this point, it feels like kind of a coin flip. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me, hey, last year was just a blip. It was a weird year. Things happened, and they're awesome this year. And it also wouldn't surprise me if you told me they're a bubble team again. Like I think there is that wide of a gap between their best case scenario and their worst case scenario, frankly.
He is Joe Healey, looking to read SEC baseball content, SEC Extra on D1 Baseball, looking to listen. Highway to Hoover podcast, wherever you find your podcast. Joe will be with us all season long on Thursdays. Enjoy your last weekend off for a little bit, Joe. We'll talk some real live baseball next Thursday.
Sounds like a plan. See you, Hunt.
He is Joe Healey, D1 Baseball's SEC Extra team. He and Mark Etheridge do an awesome job. Just as an aside to kind of put a bow on that conversation, I don't think Michael Early is a good head coach. Part of that is because they played poorly last year, and part of it is because I just listened to his press conferences, and there's nothing inspiring about what he has to say. He sounds often like it's just y'all know how I feel about Texas A&M. I don't want him to win, but I listen to Mike Elko talk. It's like, yeah, that guy's got it. I watch Bucky McMillan's team play basketball, and it's like, I mean, they have a plan, they know what they're doing, they got an identity. I watch Michael Early take questions. It's like he just looks like a man without an answer. He may be a great hitting coach for all I know, but I think they will be in the market for a head coach this year. And not only do I think that this is Pulmonary's last year at South Carolina, because I don't think they're very talented. They just lost their ace, their shortstop, just got hurt diving in a scrimmage. And I think they're going to miss the postseason again, and they'll have to make a move. I think South Carolina's going to have to fire Lamar Paris after this awful basketball season. I mean, y'all watched them play on Saturday last week. They're terrible. He's going to get fired. And I think Shane Beamer's going to get fired this year. So I think South Carolina, in the year 2026, is going to fire Shane Beamer, its football coach, around Thanksgiving, fire Lamont Paris, its basketball coach, and I don't think Paul Maneri is going to make it past this year. Whether he decides after a dismal year, I'm just done with this garbage, or South Carolina makes that decision for him. I pull for coach when they're not playing LSU. I think Paul Maneri did a great job here, and I really like him a lot. He's come on the show. He spent an hour with us at Walk-Ons, Jay Johnson's first game. Love coaching. I pull for him. I'm reading the room and reading the baseball part of it, and I don't think they're going to be very good. So I think South Carolina's athletic director, which is new, I think Ray Tanner's gone now, is going to have to hire all 3 major men's sports coaches this year. But hey, they got Dawn Staley. She wins a lot, so hopefully everybody's looking at that while the new athletic director tries to figure some things out. Appreciate Joe for giving us a little time here on this Thursday. We'll come back and wrap it up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust started up in 1910. You got it? That's 116 years ago. They're still here. If you're looking for a commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust. You're looking for a personal residential loan, First American Bank and Trust. What makes First American Bank and Trust different? Well, it's the family feel and the culture that you get from a South Louisiana-based bank, and all their locations are in South Louisiana. What's more culture than that? And you've got all the resources the big national banks provide you because they've got 25 locations. So you get somebody in Louisiana when you dial the phone. When you're getting approved for a loan, that decision is made in Southeast Louisiana. St. John Parish, Lafourche Parish, Terrebonne, St. Tangipahoa, right here, Dutchtown. It's First American Bank and Trust, that community local feel with the resources that you need for that commercial loan or that residential loan. It's First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Make Raising Cane's the first stop for your second line. Get extra saucy with a Cane's doubloon for just $1 that scores you extra cane sauce through April 3rd with any purchase. Let the good times roll this Mardi Gras with Raising Cane's. One love.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Schoenfegen & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Schoenfegen & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sigera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sigera Farms Premium Angus Beef. I'm going to give you Sean's cell phone number here in this read. So if you're looking for the finest beef in America, you got to call Sean. It's right here north of Baton Rouge at Sigera Farms. You know, the herds are at their lowest level since like the 50s and 60s, and obviously our population is significantly larger than it was then. So that's the reason your supply and demand is completely out of whack, and that's the reason you go buy your steaks, you go buy your ground beef, and you see the prices that you're paying. And you're probably not getting a premium product when you buy right off the shelf. But you're paying a premium price. If you're going to pay a premium price, get a premium product. That's what you get at Sigera Farms. Right now in the Palmer freezer, we've got ground beef. We want to do burgers, bring it out, thaw it. It's the best burgers I've ever made at home. Some of the best burgers I've ever eaten. You want to do steaks? You got them. You got ribeyes, strips, fillets. We did chuck roast, as I mentioned in the first hour. Fantastic stuff from Sigera Farms. So give Sean a call and fill your freezer up. Do a full cow. Do half a cow. Do a quarter cow. Split half a cow with some of your friends and family. Sean will take your phone call, 225-719-1723. 225-719-1723. He raises unbelievable beef right there in Athol. You go up there to the farm. He's got it packaged for you, ready to go. You just drive off. It's a different way to purchase and store your beef. You can do it with my friends over at Sigera Farm. They bring you our Thursday shows each and every week. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Okay, let's talk about some money. So, two-time reigning American League Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal won his arbitration case. It will make $32 million this year, sources tell ESPN. Skubal bet on himself to make the largest salary ever in the arbitration system, as he'll make $13 million more than the Tigers argued. So, being cheap with the best pitcher in baseball, take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it.
Leave it alone.
This is a terrible look for the Tigers. I don't know how Tarek Skubal is wired, but this is the largest arbitration gap in history, $13 million.
Yes.
He won, but they were offering him $18 million. And then they went last night, before the arbitration case was settled, and signed Framber Valdez for way more than that. And he's never thrown a pitch for the Tigers. So, the Tigers had an ace lefty, told him, yeah, we're not going to pay you that, and then went and signed a different guy for more. Tarek Skubal is the best left-hand pitcher in the world. And if he's wired like a lot of people, he's going to be pretty cranky about that. Now, if he doesn't really care, and he knows it's a business, and he won the arbitration case anyway, so who really gives a rip, then good for him. That's probably how I would feel. But if he holds a grudge, that could be bad news for the Tigers.
It should hold a grudge. I mean, you're giving a guy who hasn't played a single inning for you and paid him way more. You was even gonna pay me.
And he's the two-time Cy Young winner.
Yeah,
he's the best pitcher, and you're not quibbling. That's the wrong word. Fighting.
Yes.
For a $13 million reduction in his salary. Yo, that is not how you treat your stars.
Not even close. So ESPN's Shams Charania reported that the Bucks have indicated to teams that they're keeping Giannis Antetokounmpo through the Thursday trade deadline and will start focusing on other trades. So Giannis plans to come back from this calf strain and try and make a playoff push with this Bucks team. So, I mean, will Giannis retire a Bucks? Take it or leave it?
Leave it. Leave it alone. In that league, it's like anybody, Steph Curry and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, who else I got?
Just him and Giannis. That's really the only
Giannis
two
has got
one jersey guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's
there's not many one jersey guys.
That's a bit of a shame. There's a part of it that's okay, and I'm certainly not telling the Cubs to quit signing free agents, but it is kind of cool when somebody plays their whole time with one team. And look, the Cubs lived through their greatest era, and all those guys left. So it's literally all of them. Not a single one finished with the Cubs. Like Lester left, Rizzo left, Bryant left. Arrieta left and came back.
Addison Russell
got arrested.
I remember that guy. Oh,
they cut him because it was not a great situation under his own roof.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Hendricks ended up leaving. John Lester, Wilson Contreras, Dexter Fowler, like they all left. But that's the way it goes. But there's something wholesome about sticking it out with one team forever.
Okay, so the Los Angeles Rams, who were named the designated team, the home team for this, I guess you want to call it the Sydney, Australia little games they have going on. So they're going to be taking on the San Francisco 49ers in Melbourne, the cricket ground. So a 15-hour flight from California to Australia, take it or leave it.
Leave it. I mean, you just don't need to do that. Like, these guys put their body through more in an NFL season than any other professional sport, and we're flying them 30 hours.
Yeah, there and back.
It's just absurd. It's just money, and like all the owners love the money, and Goodell loves the money, and like we're not. It's just nobody wants that in Australia.
Not even. I don't think they even know about football.
They don't. They got Australian rules football. It's literally in the name.
So
that's it for Take It or Leave It. That's it for us on a Thursday, brought to you by Sigera Farms. Missing the show today, preview of left field, preview the SEC, talk some LSU football, Lane, Kiffin Sound. It's all on demand. Hunt on LSU is where you can find that. Matt is going to drive you home from San Francisco. It's Super Bowl 60.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Budros Electrical Services. They're online at budroselectrical.com, budroselectrical.com. Looking for a Generac home standby generator? Look no further than my friends at Budros Electrical. Neil and Melissa have been running the show there for 40-plus years. So if you're looking for a local company that will sell you that Generac home standby generator, that will service that Generac home standby generator, go with Budros Electrical. If you've already bought a Generac generator from one of the big box stores and you hate the quality of their customer service because it's non-existent, Budros Electrical can help you with that. It's called the Budro Boost. Better care, better service. So give them a call at 985-397-1562, 985-397-1562, or 225-300-9389. That's the Gonzales location, 225-300-9389. Generac home standby generator. Get one for my friends at Budros Electrical.
Jordan Fabre here with some exciting news. Fabre Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Fabre Chevrolet GMC.